Hi there, everybody. It's Debbie from celestialastrologyhealing.co.uk, and today I am talking about the full moon in Pisces lunar eclipse, which is happening today. Well, it happened earlier today, about let me see, about 10 hours ago here in the UK. So the 18th of September, if you're listening to this later, it was at 2:34 a.m. and I actually did get to see the moon last night, which was beautiful. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do this wee short YouTube video because I've been feeling a bit rough lately and I just have a slightly sore throat, but so this may be shorter than usual, but because I only put out a couple a month, I felt like, yeah, I should just do it, and hopefully you can enjoy it. So welcome to my channel if you're new here, and thank you for returning Astro friends who are subscribed. I welcome you to subscribe to my channel for my free YouTube readings. And if you're interested in a personal reading, that's where my passion lies, to help you navigate the ebbs and flows of your life with more conscious awareness of what's happening in the heavens and how that may activate certain areas of your life. So welcome here and thanks for watching. So what I plan to do is show a couple of images. I always like to start with a couple of images related to Pisces and the energy of this eclipse and what a lunar eclipse is. And then I will show a chart of the heavens, and then I may just mention which houses are being activated, because at a full moon we've always got the sun and the moon in complete opposition, and this is the first eclipse across the Pisces and Virgo axes of the chart. We've still got the Libran and Aries eclipses continuing. So for me, it feels like, you know, when you've got waves coming in, and there's a set of waves coming in, which have been the Aries, Libra, and this one's just a sort of diagonal cutting across, throwing something new into the energies, which will be unfolding over the next couple of years until 2027, when the nodes shift from Aries. They always go retrograde, so it goes into Pisces, and the ones that have been in Libra will shift backwards into Virgo. So there's different energies, and eclipses often bring a type of karmic energy to certain beginnings or endings in our life, and usually a full moon brings topics to completion. So things that may have begun 6 months ago around the new moon in Pisces may be coming to a head now, an ending point, or coming to full visibility, as is the case at full moons. So bear with me and I'll share some imagery. And again, thanks if you can like and share, leave a comment below if any of this resonates with you. Thank you. So here's a wee diagram which explains what happens during the eclipses. And usually an eclipse will happen when the nodes of the moon are within about 18 degrees of the position of the sun and the moon in the heavens. And this one is quite wide because it's actually the nodes of the moon are still in Aries and Libra, and this is the moon in Pisces. However, it would be just a tiny little bit of a shadow across the moon when the eclipse happened. So a lunar eclipse here, I'm just reading from this diagram, occurs during a full moon when the Earth is between the moon and the sun, cutting off the light from the sun on the moon. So this isn't a total one, it's just a small one, and it's giving a sense, a feeling of what's to come over the next couple of years, when the Virgo and Pisces axes will be activated, and this is the first one. So if you look in your birth chart, if you know your time of birth and use the whole sign house system is what I use, you can see which houses are on the cusp for the Virgo and the Libra areas of your life. And in the comments below, I'll put a link to looking at the different houses and their significances, because this is where the energies will be shifting over the next couple of years. So we get a chance to revisit these themes as we get continued eclipses across these axes, just like we've had with Aries and Libra. So they tend to be, lunar eclipses tend to be intensely transformative. and sometimes can bring things to the surface and lay bare what's been going on and get things done. But there's a sense of like a Uranian energy, Uranus being unexpected, unpredictable, or unexpected shocking events, or things that can upset the apple cart, in the sense that we don't really seem to have much choice in what comes up for us. It can be like a karmic thing, because the nodes of the moon are related to our karma. Sometimes in modern astrology, people look at the south node of the moon, or in ancient astrology, that's called Ketu, the severed body of the serpent or the dragon, which has a sense of release and diminishment and letting go. And modern astrologers may say that that's to do with your past life and what you're comfortable with. And then the north node of the moon, Rahu, the severed head of the dragon or the serpent, who has an insatiable lust to achieve and make success, and there's a sense of material gain and wanting to be successful with Rahu, or the north node of the moon. So that is where we may be drawn to in our charts to learn and implement these changes in our life, as seen by a modern astrological perspective. So there's quite often a karmic feel around lunar eclipses, and certainly can be completion points. But because this is the first one that's going to happen for the next couple of years until 2027, this is just going to give you a little taste of what's to come, activating the Pisces and Virgo houses. So the solar eclipse, the next one we'll have, will be on the 2nd of October. That will be the annual solar eclipse at 10 degrees Libra. And it's one of the last, or the last ones, completing. I think the last eclipse across the Aries Libra axis is March 2025. So a solar eclipse occurs during a new moon. That's when the sun and the moon are together in the heavens. And the moon is between the sun and the earth, cutting off the light of the sun on the earth. And then solar eclipses bring supercharged energy of change, rebirth, and new beginnings, and an urge to turn your gaze inward. So that's one perspective here. I've heard that eclipses by my previous teacher, Adam Ellenbass from Nightlight Astrology. He talks about eclipses being like full moons on steroids. So extra impetus, extra power are given to these energies at these times. And I just love this image here of the full moon over the ocean, because we are talking about the Pisces energy, and Pisces is a mutable, changeable, flowing, flexible, adaptive water sign, a yin sign, as in more inward feeling. Piscean energy is very much related to the connectedness to the collective. In modern astrology, Neptune, the god of the sea, Poseidon, is given to be the ruler of Pisces. And in ancient astrology, Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system, about expansiveness and growing and learning and seeking and knowing and, connecting through travel and ideas and sharing. So again, this energy is very expansive and very sensitive, because Pisces is a water sign related to yin energy. And here is the symbol of Pisces here. The glyph of two curved lines there with one horizontal line, symbolizing the fish swimming in opposite directions. There's a real sensitive energy, emotional sensitivity, intuition, compassion, caring nature to Pisces. So wherever that is in your birth chart, that could be being highlighted at this time of the full moon. And full moons can intensify our emotions anyway. This may be heightened with Neptune's conjunction to the moon, but we also have the moon sandwiched between Saturn, who can be a bit more discerning and restrictive and, mature about things. So, the energy of the moon is sandwiched between Neptune and Saturn in the heavens, and I'll show that shortly. And here's just a lovely image here of the fishes swimming in opposite directions. So in your own birth chart, you may think, oh, I don't have any planets in Pisces, perhaps, but you always have Pisces and Virgo, and certainly all the other signs of the zodiac, somewhere on a house cusp. So the ruler of Pisces in your birth chart, so it would be Jupiter in ancient astrology, would be seen. You would look for where your Jupiter placement is to see how these energies are at work in this life's path for you, for your karma to unfold, for your life's lessons to unfold. For example, I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, and Pisces is on my 4th house whole sign cusp. So I'll put a link below as well to free websites where you can cast your own chart using free data. So you need your date, place, and time of birth to cast your chart. And I would suggest trying the whole sign house system to see how that feels for you. You can certainly try other house systems too. I've worked with Placidus and Equal House system over the years, but since studying modern astrology, ancient astrology, I've moved over to whole sign house system, and it gives you complete chunks for each house. So your rising sign, no matter what degree your rising sign is, that would make the cusp of the 1st house. So for example, my rising sign is about 27, 28 degrees Sagittarius, the galactic center, I believe. So the 0 Sagittarius would be the 1st house cusp for me, and the 2nd house cusp would start with Capricorn at 0 degrees, and then Aquarius at for the 3rd house cusp, and then Pisces, the 4th house cusp. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So let me see if I can share a chart of the heavens. Sometimes it is minimized, but it's whether or not it will show. If it doesn't show, I'll have to stop the recording and bring it up from my solar fire. Oh, here we go. Miracles do exist. So yeah, please press like and subscribe if you would like to support me sharing more of my astrological offerings. I would really appreciate that. So I'm just going to annotate some of what's happening in the heavens here at the time of this full moon. So as I was saying, the sun is always opposite the moon at full moon. So here we can see the sun at 25 degrees Virgo, 40 minutes, in opposition to the moon at 25 degrees Pisces, 40 minutes. So certainly these are mutable signs of the zodiac. Virgo is mutable earth, yin, mutable earth, and Pisces is yin, mutable water. So if you have any planets, if we give a 3-degree orb either side of 25 degrees, so that would be about 22 degrees, 40 minutes, to about 28 degrees, 40 minutes of any of the mutable signs of the zodiac, that means you may feel this full moon in Pisces more strongly, because the planets that you have in your own natal chart will either be conjoined, that's conjunct, next to, or within a 3-degree orb either side, square, which is the nature of Mars, which is more about conflict and overcoming obstacles, or in opposition, which is the nature of Saturn, which is involved in trying to find a balance point between 2 opposing energies. And that's what we have at a full moon. We have the sensitive nature of the moon here in Pisces, the fishes, and then we have the earthy, discerning nature of the maiden, Virgo, the maiden who brings in the wheat and discards what's not needed and tries to, analyze and perfect things and be of service. So both of these signs, Virgo and Pisces, are about being of service and having our own sense of worth and purpose in life, which ties the 2 together, being mutable and of those natures. So when I was talking about what other things are going on in the heavens, as you can see here, you've got Neptune at 28 degrees Pisces, 35 minutes retrograde, moving back towards the moon. So that's within a 3-degree orb. And you've got Saturn here at 15 degrees at 16 minutes retrograde. So actually, the moon is about 10 degrees away from Saturn. However, the moon moves so fast, I would still call that a conjunction. So let me get my little circle. So the moon is sandwiched between, oh, that's not my circle. Sorry, bear with me. Bit of a woolly head. Here we go. Yeah, so we have this sandwich of the moon blended with the energies of practical earthy Capricorn, Saturn, who rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Halfway through Pisces, Saturn takes about 2.5 degrees and will be here until 2025. Is it 2026? I've got it in my notes, but and Neptune will be here, moving signs into Aquarius, sorry, Aries next year as well. Let me just pause this recording and then I'll get the exact dates for that. Yeah, so I've just checked my dates here. So Neptune moves into Aries on the 30th of March, 2025, station and direct on the 7th of December at 27 degrees Pisces. And Saturn moves into Aries on the 12th of July, 2025. Yeah, that's it, 25th of May, 2025, station and direct around the 15th, 16th of December at 12 degrees Pisces 51. So at the moment, both of these energies are very strong around the moon in Pisces. Saturn wants to create some boundaries around this, this nebulous, flowing, ever-expanding ocean of the wide waters that are ever changing and feeling and sensitive. And Saturn has been trying to create these boundaries here, like a dam, channeling the waters, giving them some structure to hold them, contain them. And Neptune is more about opening ourselves to a sense of trust, release, surrender, in a way that we can be healing. We can allow ourselves to be healed, to maybe heal some wounds, to have a sense of forgiveness, perhaps. This would be my hope anyway. Because, you know, by holding on to things that are painful, we can wound ourselves and close off our own hearts. And if we can be more compassionate and trusting and open ourselves to the love energy, it can be frightening because you can get wounded. However, if we all come from this space, it can be much more productive for us to evolve as human beings at this time of great change on this planet. So that's an energy going on there. However, with Neptune, sometimes it's like the tide is going back, calling out to Laurie Lothian from Lunatic Astrology. She talked about that Neptune going retrograde is receding and revealing things that are left on the shore. So I love that analogy and that imagery of something being revealed. Other planetary activity that we can see in the heavens at this full moon in Pisces is a T-square from Mars in Cancer at 7 degrees 47 minutes, squaring Rahu, the north node of the moon, at 7 degrees Aries, and squaring the south node of the moon, Ketu, at 7 degrees Libra. So Mars in Cancer expresses his energy in a very emotional way as well, because the moon rules Cancer and Mars is a guest of Cancer. Mars usually likes to be very proactive and fiery and Martian, you know, warrior-like, fighting. So, you know, the energy that can be stirred up around this full moon can be related to family energy dynamics around home and security, because Cancer is ruled by the moon and the moon is about those caring, nurturing natures, and the square brings up some challenges, you know, with the north node in Aries, that square energy, and the south node in Pisces. Another aspect that we can see in the heavens at the time of this full moon in Pisces lunar eclipse is Venus in her own temple that she rules, Libra, 23 degrees 54 minutes. And she is opposing Chiron, which represents the wounds that we carry in our lives. So that opposition is quite dynamic as well. Chiron is at 22 degrees, Aries, 22 minutes retrograde. So again, Venus can be about wanting to bring harmony, peace, union, and calm to discordant energies, and Chiron represents the wounds that we may carry. And in Aries, it may be related to our own abilities and our own self-sufficiency. So there is all this energy going on at the same time. There's hope, there's heightened emotion, there's sensitivity, there's compassion, and there's reality check Saturn there, as I mentioned earlier. And we will be having the day after the full moon on the 18th of September. I could try and annotate the chart. I'd have to bring up my solar fire. Let me just try doing that. So the day after the full moon on the 19th of September, we can see that the sun at 26 degrees Virgo, co-present with Mercury, who rules Virgo. So there's a sort of very discerning earthy energy happening in the heavens, depending on where this Virgo house is in your chart. There's a trine. The sun is in applying, that's approaching within a 3-degree orb to trining, a trine aspect of 120 degrees to Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. So there's a 3-degree orb. The sun is applying to trine Pluto. Pluto is in a trine to Uranus at 27 degrees Taurus, retrograde, 7 degrees retrograde. And Uranus is in a trine to the sun at 26 degrees. So this will continue for a couple of days. I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't really see now where it is. Here we go. Yeah, from the 19th of September to the 22nd of September, there's this Earth trine. It's a grand trine in Earth. So the earth element is one of stability, solidness. You know, earth is unmoving. Earth likes to be sort of stable and safe. Virgo energy is meticulous, analytical, perfectionist, discerning, getting rid of what's not needed, you know, moving through the clutter, clearing, and doing things in a really productive way, with a trine to the Pluto at the anaretic degree in Capricorn. So Pluto has just returned to Capricorn for the last time in 248 years. So I think it was the 2nd of September, depending on where you are in the world, until the 19th of November, Pluto is going to be helping us tie up the ends related to wherever the Capricorn house is in our chart. I don't really go into the mundane astrology, but Pluto is Hades, god of the underworld, and it can bring up things about hidden, suppressed, darker shadow parts of ourselves that are pressed down and hidden into the dark worlds. But it's a time where we can purge these things out, cleanse, release, with a sense of finding our power, knowing ourselves stronger, and, you know, knowing our inner selves really well. It can be painful energies when we go on these journeys of self-discovery or recognizing truths about ourselves. So, you know, that energy there is giving us a cathartic, transformational potential to make shifts. And the flowing trine energy is that of the nature of Jupiter, Jupiter as in the largest planet of the solar system, usually bringing a sense of growth, reward, expansion, or it can be exaggeration. So Pluto there is trining Uranus in Taurus, another earth sign. Sometimes that can bring up unexpected changes and shifts, or maybe some sort of liberation and awakening, and which can make us feel like, yeah, we can see things with sudden clarity. And Uranus is also trining our sun, our sense of spirit, following our own destiny and ambitions. So this energy is also around the time of the full moon. And just before I go into the very short delineations of pointing out which houses are being activated for the signs of the zodiac, the last eclipses in Pisces with Rahu, the north node of the moon, were from the 18th of March 1988. There was a solar eclipse at 27 degrees Pisces. 27th of August 1988, there was a lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. The 7th of March 1989, there was a solar eclipse at 7 degrees Pisces. So if you can reflect back, if you're old enough, to 1988 to 1989, then you may find that similar themes are being activated in your life. And the most recent eclipses would have been the 7th of September 2006. There was a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees Pisces. The 19th of March 2007, there was a solar eclipse at 28 degrees Pisces. And then the 28th of August 2007, there was a total lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. So if you can cast your mind back, if you're of the younger generations, to 2006, September and August, end of August 2007, that's when we had these last eclipses. And remember, eclipses can be like waves coming in, sets of waves. So similar themes. So just bearing that in mind, really. So for you, Aries, we've got this 12th house moon in Pisces. So the 12th house is the hidden place, Saturn's joy, and Saturn is in this area of life, in his own area that he likes to be, behind the scenes. So there can be some very deep reflections happening behind the scenes with Neptune there, with hope and positivity, faith and trust, or confusion and delusion, feeling very unsure. And the sun is opposite in your 6th house of Virgo. So it's bringing these challenges around finding balance between your sun, your expression of what you do in your daily life, work life, sense of service to others, and it can be related to your own health. And when we think about Mars being your ruler, Aries, Mars is in your 4th house of home and family, which is a very dynamic area of your chart. It's to do with your roots, your resting place, your lineage and your ancestry. So there's this square going on here, this T square to your north node in the 1st house of Aries, about trying to follow your own path and your own self-expression, and a sense of challenge to how you can balance that within your relationships, where the south node in Libra is like a sense of letting go. So see how that feels for you, Aries, and thank you for listening. I'm going to just now move on to the next sign of the zodiac. This is just going to be very short delineations because I can feel my throat is about to go. So Taurus, welcome to your full moon in Pisces lunar eclipse, short delineation. So as we can see, we've got the moon in your 11th house, which is one of the houses of Jupiter's joy. Well, it is the house of Jupiter's joy. It's the house of your hopes and wishes, your dreams, your long-term plans, cushioned between reality checker, Saturn, Kronos, Lord of Time, the old man of the Zodiac, and Neptune with your dreams and hopes and aspirations here. So hopefully you can find some sense of balance. Something might be coming to a head here, and it's opposite the sun in Virgo, in Virgo in your 5th house, which is related to Venus's joy, your pleasures. It's about you finding your pleasures in life, and that expression of where you can be creative, or it may be related to your children, if you have children, or what you can bring to life through your own entrepreneurship. And your ruler is Mercury here in the house co-present with the sun, and Venus, sorry, Taurus, that isn't your ruler. Venus is your ruler. Let me just draw that line in, and she is opposite the Chiron. So in your everyday life, Venus is in her temple, trying to do her best, trying to avoid conflict, trying to bring things together in a harmonious way. But there is a sense of some sort of letting go of something here with the South Node Ketu. And it's something about healing wounds around your own abilities, which you may be reflecting on behind the scenes, Taurus. So I hope that's helpful. Let's move on the chart now to Gemini. Hi, Gemini. ascendants, if you know your time of birth, or your sun or your moon, you can listen for all of these different parts of yourself and see which resonates most to you. So we've got the moon in your 10th house, another house of praxis, the 10th house of Virgo, very visible up there in the heavens, something coming to light, ending, fruition point. And these axes are going to be stimulated and, you know, repeating these themes around your public life, your sphere of what you're seen to do in the public world, perhaps related to your own occupation and career or vocations, your social status. And we've got Saturn up there cushioning the moon with Neptune. Something might be coming to a head. Saturn might be encouraging you to say no or cut back or recognize what's not quite right and what you'd like to bring in for the future over the next couple of years till 2027, with Neptune there, dreams, faith, hope, creativity. And we've got it opposite your house of home and family. So it's the 10th house, 4th house axes that are going to be stimulated for you, Gemini, and your ruler Mercury is in his domicile, in his exaltation, in this home. So you can be very discerning. You may be making plans, maybe tidying up the home environment, improving it with a sense of progress here that's possible for the future. Mercury is in opposition to Saturn. So there could be something around how you communicate, and maybe there is a restriction there, or there's maybe a little bit of discomfort, or you know, if you are the elder, maybe you're trying to be stricter, trying to do something more discerning that's going to improve your home environment for the future. So I hope that's helpful for you, Gemini. As I'm saying, this is just going to be short this time round. So Cancer, welcome to this full moon lunar eclipse, short delineation. Just looking at the houses where the moon in Pisces is. It's your 9th house, which is the joy of the sun, the house of God. It's related to the higher mind, your belief systems, your spirituality or your religion, or pilgrimages that you follow, or interests involving other cultures, or further studies that enrich your sense of self, and how that impacts on where you feel you belong and your reason for being in this life, Cancers. You know, there's a Saturn there, maybe causing you to think about what you don't need, what you can cut away, and Neptune there cushioning the moon, highest ideals and fantasies and romantic ideas and creativity up there, cushioning this moon. And it could be some projects that are coming to an end point that may be started. I think it was around March 2024 when there was a new moon in Pisces. And this is activating opposite your 3rd house, where the sun in Virgo is very discerning, with Mercury co-present. So the 3rd house is the house of the goddess. It's the house of your local environment. You may be discerning about what you can do and improve and perfect, or use your communication or mercantile interactions with others in your local locality and neighborhood in and around your home, that may improve this sense of learning and understanding and widening your mind for the future. So I hope that's helpful for you, Cancerian ascendants. Thank you for listening. Moving on now to Leo. Welcome, Leo. This full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces is happening in your 8th house of Pisces at 25 degrees, cushioned between Saturn, the restrictive one, the one that can recognize what's missing, what needs to be improved, what's difficult, what's hard, and this cushion between Neptune and your dreams and hopes and wishes and sense of trust and faith. You know, the 8th house is to do with many things. It's to do with shared resources. It's to do with joint finances. It's about money that comes in from others. That can be from inheritance. It can be your everyday things like taxes and rents and bills. And it also can represent money that flows in from others that support you in some way. It used to be called the house of the esteem of others. But in relationship, it would suggest that there can be some confusion with Neptune up here in Pisces, some unclarity, and Saturn, the reality checker, you know, the one that says no, cushioning this moon, and something might be coming to fruition that began around the new moon. In Pisces at the beginning of the year in the March 2024. This is the culmination point, and the sun is in the opposite house of your own resources. The sun is co-present with Mercury. The sun is your ruler, and there can be some recognition of what's, maybe just be careful about not being too self-critical with sun in Mercury here in the house around your own skills and your own abilities. But there is a sense of wanting to create security for the future, and maybe you're looking at what abilities you personally have, and you're having to find this and balance this out within personal relationships, because the 8th house can be related to your anxieties and fears as well. It's also the house of mysticism, interests in the occult, mysteries in life, and sex, death, taboo topics, and intimacy. So there's needing to find out the balance here, and recognize some truths, recognize what can be improved, cut away what's not needed, etc. So I hope that's helpful for you, Leos. Thank you for listening. Hi there, Virgos. Obviously, this is going to be a very powerful lunar eclipse for you, because it's happening across the axes of your shared or personal relationships, where the moon is in your 7th house here, 25 degrees, 40 minutes, opposite the sun in Virgo in your 1st house. So these are very dynamic houses. These are angles of the chart. So the moon here with Saturn can represent either commitment for the long term, or it may be related, if you're in a personal relationship, there could be something coming up about commitment for the long term. Is it worth it, or does Saturn say no? And there's that sense of distance, because Saturn is the most distant planet of the solar system, yet you have Neptune here cushioning the moon, sandwiching the moon between Saturn and Neptune brings hopes and wishes and romanticism, sometimes rose-colored glasses, so there's challenges here around close and personal relationships, intimate relationships. These can be romantic in nature, or they may be related to business partners if you're not in a relationship. And your sun is in your 1st house of Virgo, co-present with the moon, co-present with Mercury, the ruler of Virgo. And so therefore, maybe you're able to actually recognize some personal traits around your own self-expression, around your own health, and how that's impacting on you, because this house, the 1st house, is the helm of the ship, and it is related to your own identity. So maybe something's coming to a head at this time, Virgo, that maybe started around the new moon in March 2024, coming to a head. But these themes of self-expression, using your own skills of being of service, and offering of yourself to others, and how that is part and parcel of you, and how this impacts on your personal relationships. These themes are going to continue repeating over the next couple of years as the nodes shift into Pisces and Virgo until 2027. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you for listening. Hi there, Librans. If you know your time of birth, you can look for your ascendant, or you can look for your sun and your moon. So as you can see, this lunar eclipse in Pisces is in your 6th house of Pisces, where the moon is at 25 degrees Pisces, opposite the sun at 25 degrees Virgo. So this house is related to your everyday work, your routines and rituals, your sense of self-sacrifice. And it can be to do with your own health as well. And it's also the house of small pets. So the moon is cushioned between Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So there could be a sense of something coming to a head that's making you aware of what you're doing in your everyday life. It may be related to your work, your job, that you maybe have some discontentment with Saturn here, maybe thinking about what's wrong with it, what could be better about it, or maybe you've got lots of responsibility in your daily life. And Neptune here is wanting to bring in some creativity and, you know, using your imagination more. And this opposition is going across to your 12th house. So the 6th house is about Mars's joy in ancient times. He's one of the malefic planets, the lesser malefic. And your 12th house, where the sun is at 25 degrees Virgo, is in the house of Saturn's joy. So this is about behind the scenes, hidden away from your public view, your inner world, your inner wealth, your inner self. So there could be some private reflections as you maybe reflect and analyze and look deeply into topics around health, because Virgo is very much about health and the body, holistic care, well-being, nutrition. You may be trying to start some regimes, or, you know, think about regimes that may be healthier for your body. And Mercury is also here in the temple, that Mercury rules behind the scenes. So I'm sure there's some deep reflections that you've got going on, Librans as well. And we've also got this, your ruler Venus is in opposition to Chiron. So in your house of yourself, your personal expressions, your identity, wanting to do things in a really harmonious way, quite often within collaboration and partnership where you're keeping the peace. There's Chiron opposite here, about wounds as well, that you may carry self-doubt, maybe around your own self within relationships. So there's something to heal here as well at this time of this full moon. And remembering that the topics of the 6th house and the 12th house are going to be repeating until 2027, as the nodes of the moon will be shifting from Aries into Pisces and from Libra, always going backwards into Virgo. So see how that feels for you, Libra and Ascendant, and thank you for listening. So moving on to Scorpio. Hi there, Scorpio. This full moon is happening in your 5th house. Let me just highlight it. Here's your 5th house of Venus's joy, where the moon is at 25 degrees 40 minutes Pisces, in opposition to the sun, up here in the 11th house of Virgo. So these are known as the benefic houses. So the benefic house of Venus, Venus's joy, pleasures, and where you find your creative outlet, what you like to bring to the world that is from your own sense of giving birth to an idea, if you're, you know, work for yourself or you're highly creative, or it could be related to children as well, topics around children. It can be related to pregnancy and romance, or it could be related to sport. It's whatever and wherever you find pleasures. This is where this full moon in Pisces is happening. And with Saturn here, there could be a sense of recognizing what's missing in this area of your life, what's difficult about what's happening in this area of your life. Do you have enough fun? Do you have an outlet for pleasures or romance? Is there space in your life, such as, you know, those sort of topics? We also have Neptune in Pisces, the sign that Neptune rules in modern astrology, highlighting that sensitivity around emotional states. The moon can be our mind and our body. The moon in Pisces, you know, with that opposition to the sun in Virgo, you know, so you've got the Saturn energy of limitation, difficulty. You've got the Neptune energy of highlighting your ideal and your fantasy and your dreams. But then you've got the reality of the opposition of the Sun in Virgo in the 11th house of Jupiter's joy, related to hopes and wishes. So Scorpios, you might be thinking long term, because this 11th house of Jupiter's joy is related to long-term plans. The Sun in Virgo and Mercury in the temple that Mercury rules can be very discerning, really looking in at the minutiae and the details, and maybe having a criticism that is necessary maybe to plan ahead for your long term. So where is Mars? Mars in Cancer. Mars is your ruler in ancient astrology. So Mars is up here in your 9th house, and there's an opposition to the lunar node, sorry, a square, there's a T-square. So yeah, there may be some sort of sense of heightened emotions as well, related to your belief systems, you know, your philosophies in life, and it's squaring the hidden place where you've got the south node of the moon in Libra, reflecting on some issues. It could be related to money, it could be related to your personal relationships, and then your north node in Aries about the dynamics of your own abilities in your daily life as well, and how you can use your own initiative. So I hope that's helpful for you, Scorpios. Thank you for listening. Again, press like and share, subscribe if you haven't already. I really would appreciate that to help my channel grow. My last video had very poor views. I don't know how YouTube works, and sometimes it can be a little bit, you know, it can undermine one's own confidence sometimes. Is it worth carrying on? But I'm carrying on. I'll be positive. So Sagittarius, you are one of the signs that's going to be affected by this lunar eclipse, because the moon is in an angle of your chart here at 25 degrees, Pisces 40 minutes. The house of home and family, your resting place, ancestry, lineage, safety, mothering, mother relationships, all of those sort of dynamics are being activated. Maybe something's come into a head that started around the new moon in Pisces in March 2024. Saturn's been here, maybe bringing some sense of burden or responsibility or restriction, or having to use your own mastery and skills that you've gleaned if you're of an age where you have got enough life experience to impart around topics of home and family and wisdom. Neptune is here, bringing some hopes and wishes, compassion and self-sacrifice, but also sometimes a depletion. And then the opposition for the moon to the sun in Virgo up here is in the 10th house of your social sphere of life. So there is this tug of war potential around home and family and your visible world. Maybe you're striving to achieve things in your occupation or your career path, and you've got like lots of particular skills with Virgo and energy, where you want to be of service to others. You maybe have very precise skills that you can offer, because Mercury is co-present with the sun in Virgo in this house. So it's weighing these things up, and how does that impact the responsibility at home, issues around home, restrictions around home, and how does that affect your career path? So that's something that you can reflect on, Sagittarians. And Jupiter is in your 7th house. So Jupiter is your ruler. Jupiter is in your 7th house, and will be until March 2025. So there are opportunities for expansion. It could be related to your partner, 7th house, Jupiter in Gemini, or it may be related to expanding your customer, your client base, with lots of different new ideas, because Gemini multitasks. And then we've got this Mars T-square with the nodes of the moon, if I draw it in. So Mars is in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, karmic debt, squaring both the south node Ketu in your house of Libra up here. So the South Node is about release, diminishment, letting go. So there could be a sense of challenge in your social groups, or something maybe in your long-term wishes and hopes and dreams, where you're actually just letting something go that maybe doesn't feel right for you anymore. And there's a square to the North Node of your moon. You know, T-squares are quite activating and motivating. You know, there are challenges to overcome, but Mars is highly emotional, very sensitive, very protective, mother bear energy in Cancer. So, you know, it's about intimacy, protection, home, family, and that Rahu, North Node of the moon, in the house of Venus's joy is giving you the challenge to follow your own path using your own initiative related to your own creativity and entrepreneurial areas of life, or maybe related to something to do with children, pleasures and things like that. So I hope that's helpful, Saggy ascendants, sun or moons. Okay, Capricorn. Hi there, Capricorn. This is a very short delineation of the full moon lunar eclipse, which is happening across your 3rd house of Pisces and your 9th house of Virgo. The moon at 25 degrees Pisces, 40 minutes, is in the house of the joy of the moon. The 3rd house is around your sense of neighborhood, communications, in and out, around about the journeys around your home. It could be to do with teaching, learning, selling, education. So things like that, siblings, distant relatives. So Saturn in Pisces is cushioning the moon with Neptune on the other side. So there could be some sort of sense of reality checks whilst trying to balance that with your own imaginative ideas and dreams and wishes, creativity. This could be something that's coming to fruition after the new moon in Pisces, some 6 months earlier in March 2024. But these axes, the 3rd house, is being activated until 2027. So it's related to responsibilities around your home environment, your neighborhood. Maybe you're taking more responsibility in family dynamics with siblings or other distant relatives. The joy of the moon in ancient times, this was also the house of friendships. So you've got this mix of Saturn reality check, trying to set the boundaries, trying to recognize what's not right. Neptune with the dreams and the hope and the compassion and, you know, self-sacrifice, with the moon there in opposition to your 9th house of Virgo, where the sun and the moon are in opposition, and also Saturn and Mercury are in opposition. So the 9th house of Virgo is related to your sense of your belief systems, your philosophies in life, your outlook, things that help you expand your mind. So Virgo is very discerning. Virgo is meticulous. Maybe you're wanting to perfect some studies, or make better and improve something around what you can offer in the world as well. So see how that resonates with you, Capricorn, and thanks for listening. Moving on now to Aquarius. Hi there, Aquarius. This is your full moon lunar eclipse short delineation, showing that the moon is in your 2nd house of your own skills, your finances, your own abilities and your resources. Here cushioned between Saturn, who wants to set boundaries and recognize what's missing or what needs to be endured and persevered with for the long term. Neptune with the dreams and compassion and high imagination, sometimes romanticism. This is in your house of you, what you take into your body. Maybe there's a sense of recognizing that it's a good time to strip back and improve and cut out certain things that you take into your body that may help you. Or hone your skills, improve your skills, because Saturn's retrograde, reflecting on these areas of your life. Opposite the sun in Virgo, co-present with Mercury, who rules Virgo. So there's this sense of focusing within your house of shared relationships, of what you may bring to the table, and a sense of karmic debt within joint finances, or if you work with others. This house is the esteem of others. Mercury's up here, you know, being quite perfectionist and looking in at the details here. And the Sun in Virgo also wants to be of service, and you know, the Virgin who discards the wheat from the chaff. There's some sort of sense of improvement here. How can things be improved in your areas of intimacy or shared resources and karmic debt? And these themes of your own skills or your own resources balanced with those with others in your intimate relationships will be coming up again, like sets of waves. They'll be repeating until 2027. So see how that feels for you. And Saturn is your ruler, Aquarius. So, you know, he is highlighting, you know, what's missing, what can be improved for the future. So let me know if any of that resonates in the comments below, and thank you for listening. Moving on now just to Pisces, patient Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. This full moon lunar eclipse is happening in the first house, so it's very, very powerful for you, Pisces. There's the moon at 25 degrees Pisces, 40 minutes in the helm of the ship. This is the steering wheel of the ship. This is all about you and your identity, your self-expression, how you view the world, your psychology, your vitality, you know, and Saturn here is trying to be setting boundaries for you. You know, sometimes Saturn can bring some somber reality to your outlook. You know, maybe you've been reflecting on some issues around how you show up in the world and your identity, or how you can take on more responsibility, perhaps with Saturn here, or what needs to be improved for the future, for the long-term plans, because Saturn is Kronos, Lord of Time, and Neptune rules Pisces, you know, so there's heightened attunement to your emotions and your compassion, maybe your imagination and creativity. And with Pisces, it's always important to know where the boundary of where you finish and others begin, because you can be so caring and pick up on other people's emotions and struggles and suffering. So Saturn is good for discerning this, and Neptune keeps you open. So the moon is cushioned here in your first house, and topics that may be coming up to an end point now for you with both of these outer planets retrograde may have started around March 2024, when there was a new moon in Pisces, and there's a closure point. But this area of life, your first house, your identity, and the seventh house where the sun is in opposition to the moon, 25 degrees Virgo, 40 minutes. This is about your personal relationships. You know, so there's a need to find some sense of balance within your close and personal relationships, whether it's romantic or whether it's clients that you serve. And Virgo wants to be of service. Virgo is very much related to the body, health, being productive, holistic care, things like that. And Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So Mercury is in his temple. He's also exalted in Virgo. So you have this potential around this new moon, Pisces, to really discern and analyze and look at the details of what goes on within your relationship and how that affects how you show up in the world. You know, there's a sense of trying to find some balance here, knowing what's good for you and what you can share with others, but knowing about some sense of healthy boundaries is always important. And your ruler, as well as being Neptune in modern day astrology, ruling and heightening this sort of emotional sensitivity, is Jupiter. And Jupiter is in the very dynamic house of home and family here. Jupiter is coming away from a square to Saturn as well. So there could be restrictions, limitations that you're moving through here. but yeah, just recognizing that, you know, it is about you over the next couple of years till 2027. How you can show up in the world, how you can master your own skills, how you can use your own identity and creativity with the Neptune there, and how that balances within your personal relationships. So I think that's all I'm going to say today. Thank you for listening. Have a look in the comments below. I'll share something about the house systems, so you can look into the house systems where these Pisces and Virgo eclipses will be activated until 2027. And just be kind to yourself. Recognize that emotions may be heightened during this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. And yeah, let's all be positive and send out love and light to help raise the vibrancy and the frequency of anything that's suffering in the world as a whole, because we're connected, we're all connected. We can feel the undercurrents, and we're all human beings. We all have our differences, we all have our own abilities, we all have our own different life challenges. So being aware in Pisces, being kind to ourselves and also being kind to others. So thank you for listening. Blessings. Bye for now.